Welcome to
Woohoo!
my weekly show, Classroom Without Walls, where I interview industry leading professionals, digital marketers, entrepreneurs, social media marketers to come to the show to share with us social media, digital marketing, entrepreneurship. Today, I'm really honored to have my dear friend, Jessica Yarbrough, to come and join us live to discuss Simplify to Amplify, how to scale fast to not 5 figures, not 6 figures, but to 7 figures. I'm really excited for this topic. And I personally have been following Jessica. I think I discovered you through Jeff Hunter. I think so. He commented on one of your LinkedIn posts. I was like, wow, this lady is amazing. I just fell in love with your content. So really excited. Everyone, we are in for a treat today. And this is my 99th episode. And next week will be my 100th episode. And we are going to do some giveaway. But anyway, so we are live on LinkedIn. Hello, LinkedIn. We're also live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook. We're also live on Periscope and YouTube. Hello, everyone. Let me know in the comment section where you are joining us from, social media wise and geographically speaking. Jessica, where are you joining us from? Let us know.
I'm in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Woohoo! She's vacationing. She's having fun. You know, that's the dream life we all want to have, right? Doing what you love and creating income and impact. But everyone, before I introduce Jessica, I just want to do a final announcement of my Entrepreneurship Immersion program. Those of you who have been following my journey, you know that I worked in higher education for 10 plus years. And this year I just resigned. Now I'm building my own school. And the first program is an Entrepreneurship Immersion in Singapore. And we have 10 speakers from 5 different countries to come to Singapore to teach us. Specifically a young professional. That's my dream audience I want to work with from 17 to 27 years old. We're going to learn from those marketers and speakers and visit Microsoft, Adobe, HubSpot, and we are going to stay at a resort, online learning, certifications, and so much more. And we are going to stay at a 5-star resort in Singapore. So I'm going to close the application by the end of this week. So if you guys are interested, I'm going to enter the link in the comment section, apply before we have no spot left. Okay, Jessica, let's give our undivided attention to you. And Jessica is a 7-figure coach, and she specializes in selling high-end tickets, which we are going to discuss today, how to do it and how to do it effectively. And Jessica also helps others to build an expert business, and through her unique methodology that we are going to discuss today, Jessica also helped herself to live her dream life and to become a 7-figure coach the way she is today, to have her dream life, to create income and impact, to influence others. I personally have benefited so much from Jessica's free content, everyone. So really honored to have you on the show, Jessica, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited even to join you here from Mexico. I've been looking forward to this interview for a long time.
Thank you so much. And as I introduced you earlier, you know, I have been following you for quite some time, and you specialize in selling high-end tickets. So maybe you can share with us, how did you get started on this journey? And what are some struggles that you encountered in your early days, if you remember?
Oh, sure. Well, I started working very young. I managed multiple companies. I even built a startup company in San Diego, but I got burned out from that. And I really wanted to just break free and travel the world. So I spent 4 years actually traveling the world. I did some consulting in Thailand. I did some consulting in China. I kind of gave it all up and said, okay, I'm just going to teach yoga. I know it's total 180. And
oh my God.
I know. And then I got pregnant with my daughter and realized, you know, look, I gotta get serious. No more kind of just playing anymore. And my options were really, you know, go back and get a job, which I feel like I'm unemployable. It's not for me. You know, I like that freedom aspect, or go back to what I knew, which was consulting. So I started just taking whatever work I could get. So if anybody's like, how am I going to do it? Well, I did it as a new a mother to be that was totally alone and really started from zero. So if I can do it, you can do it. And just took whatever work I could get, even way below the prices I should have been charging, because I did what I had to do, which is what you have to do sometimes. As I built my reputation, I kept getting referrals for more and more work and kept raising my prices. And then I had a lot of friends coming to me and saying, wow, Jessica, we've seen you go from being this yoga teacher, to having a baby and building a really successful consulting business. Can you teach us? Can you teach us how to do what you do? And so I began to really break away from the done for you services for my clients and start to develop my own teaching methodologies so that I could empower others to really make the impact and the income that they desire using their gifts, not learning to something completely different, but actually using what is innately their brilliance.
Wow, that's amazing. And we already have more than 20 people joining us live right now. And I'm only looking at LinkedIn right now. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. This is going to be a value-packed conversation. And so really honored to have everyone here. Thank you so much. And that's quite a journey. Thank you for sharing with us. And I love how you're talking about, how to scale to 7 figures, which just sounds like so amazing. But I know so many entrepreneurs are struggling. Everyone works so hard. They hustle, hustle all the time. And so why do you think that's the case? So many people are working so hard, but they are struggling to make 5, 6 figures. And what are some of the missing links based on your experience and observation and working with others?
Well, there's a lot of things happening. First of all, we're inundated with messages from internet marketers and course creators and every coach out there, trying to kind of preach this slow progression, meaning, build a membership site or sell a course and eventually one day you'll get there. That's one thing. We know that starting low and trying to build your way up is going to be very challenging because most people don't have the credibility, the audience, the money to spend and pay traffic to actually monetize their course. And we can dive more into that. Another thing is people oftentimes are they're trying to cast too wide of a net, right? They're trying to be everything to everyone. Oh, I'm pretty good at this. Yeah, let me do LinkedIn audits. Okay, I'm pretty good at this. Let me run Facebook traffic. Instead of just doing the thing that you're really great at and going all in and keeping your focus really until you hit 500,000, just staying fully focused in what you do. So distraction is any CEO's biggest bottleneck. I say that often. And so keeping the focus and starting high, like reverse engineering your business, starting with your high ticket and those high value, high touch experiences. And then as you grow, you can start to do your one-to-many. And eventually, if you even decide, you may never decide to do it, you can launch a course. But that's when you have a ton of following and an audience that's going to buy from you.
Oh, wow. I love this. By the way, everyone, I want to let you know that my dear friend Peter, who is based in the UK, he's monitoring everyone's comments. And so if you have a question that I missed, please feel free to tag Peter, who is my amazing dear friend. And thank you so much, Peter. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that, Jessica, and define, so many great points. So define high-end ticket for us. Like, is there a price point that is considered a high-end ticket?
Yeah, high ticket is really anything that requires a phone call. So we're not getting out of, we're not trying to sell it off a webinar. We're not trying to sell it off a sales page, which is very difficult to do because there's a lot of things that you need to put into those sales pages or webinars to convince people to buy because you don't have that human interaction. So anything over 2,000. Now, typically what I personally consider high ticket is more 5 figures. So 10K, 25K, 50, 100K is really what my clients are going for. So everybody has different things that they gauge it with. And for some people, if you're watching, you're saying, listen, I can't even sell my package of 10 sessions for $1,000. How am I ever going to sell it for 10,000? I promise you it's easier than you think. And so that is a huge shift.
Explain that to me. Why? Like, it doesn't make sense almost logically when you think about it, right? So if we are struggling selling like $500, $900, $1,000 ticket, how can we succeed with selling like 10K, 20K, or even 50K tickets? So maybe share with us, why is that even easier? Explain, maybe do some math for us.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, first of all, when you sell higher ticket, you're focusing on a transformation. So a lot of people are doing just a little Band-Aid solution. And what I'm explaining with high ticket is you're going to solve a big urgent problem.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, let's say your relationship's on the rocks, right? Your partner is threatening divorce if you guys don't do relationship coaching. That can easily be turned into a high ticket program, because $25,000 invested in relationship coaching that can save your marriage is going to be a heck of a lot cheaper than going through divorce court.
Mm.
You see the difference? But if you just went in there and tried to sell how to be a better husband course for $997, they're not going to buy. Or it's going to be harder to sell them into something bigger. So we want to start with high ticket. We want to work with people and build a personal relationship and walk them through a process of transformation. And for that, for our time, our energy, our experience, they're going to pay a premium price.
I love this. And maybe you can also explain. I remember one of your training videos, you mentioned many people were selling to the problem, not to the pain point.
Yes.
So explain that to us.
Yes, a lot of people are out there saying, "Hey, here's your problem. You need a new website, right? Or like your branding's terrible. The solution is you need a new website." But the reality is people don't buy for the problem they have. Problems are something that we try to solve ourselves. We turn to Google, we ask our friends. It's kind of DIY. That's when you get your DIY prices, or the small done with you type prices that are maybe 500 or 1,000. Mm-hmm. But if you sell to the pain, and not only the pain, but the fear of the future pain, the consequences that are going to come, it's totally different. So if instead of saying your branding's terrible, you need a new website in order to close more clients, if instead you said, listen, your branding is so terrible that your leads have completely dried up. And if you don't make money in the next 30, 60 days, you're going to have to, you're going to be evicted from your apartment. You're going to have to go back and get a job. You're not going to be able to pay your bills, feed your family. That's different. That creates a different sense of urgency. So we don't want to sell to the problem. We want to sell to the pain that these people are in, and even the pain that they may not openly admit. So don't be afraid to peel back those layers. So what some of the pain that people are in and the fears are, I actually don't know enough. This isn't going to work. They were right. Whoever they were, my parents were right. This was a stupid idea. My ex was right. Right. We need to be able to speak to those thoughts that are happening in their mind, so that they literally are like, this person gets me. They're reading my mind. And when you can do that effectively, instant rapport is created. Instant rapport, and rapport is what creates the trust, which is necessary to sell something that is valued at $10,000 or $25,000 or $50,000.
Totally. So maybe you can share, because I think many of my friends, I personally don't know any of my friends who are selling high-end ticket. So maybe this is something that it is a little bit hard to conceptualize. Many are indeed struggling with selling like $500, $600, $900, $800 ticket. So maybe you can give us an example. I know you work with so many clients.
Yes.
You have transformed so many people's lives. So share an example or story with us where someone used to struggle with selling like $400, $500 ticket, but now it's selling like 50K tickets and having a great life. Yeah. So share a story with us.
A great example is James Jacoby. He is an amazing human being. He's one of my clients. He's a sales consultant, and he actually left the corporate world because he has 3 small children, and he did not want to miss out on their life. Right. So it's that dream that we want, is we want to start our own business. And he invested, I don't know what he invested, $50,000, $80,000, $100,000. He invested a lot of things into things that just didn't work. And a lot of that was the low ticket model, like build this course, try to sell it. He even wrote a book, one day you'll make money. And he was really struggling even to sell a few $1,000s. And when I sat down with James, I said, James, you're a total rock star. Like, you were number 1 in sales in your company. You were scouted by headhunters for your sales abilities. Why are you trying to coach beginning coaches? That's why you're not, you're marketing to the wrong people. I said, your genius belongs into going into companies. They're already making 7 figures and helping them add another $1 million to their bottom line. And within one conversation, we shifted his mindset. We came up with 2 new packages, and he sold almost $100,000 in sales in the next 6 weeks.
What?
Yeah. So that's a quick transformation, but oftentimes we may not even be marketing to the right people. You have to be marketing to the right people. You have to have an offer that gets them, that's pricey, but yet actually it seems affordable, right? It's expensive, but the value is so packed into it that, you know, if they can pay you $50,000 and you can generate $500,000 for them in 6 months, is it worth it? Yeah, that's a no-brainer. So it needs to heads yes before you even get done. You also need to make sure that you have your messaging and positioning right. So if you're getting on the phone with people and you know they have the money, right? You know they have the money there. It's not that you're just getting on the phone with bad leads. You actually know they have the money and they're not buying. They're giving you all the excuses, the common objections. Then you have a messaging and a positioning problem. Because when you are positioned in the place of your ideal client's minds as an expert, when your message can hook into them that you are already entering the conversation happening in their head. You understand their pain, you understand what's going to happen if they don't do something about it, and you present this like incredible pathway, a way out, then you'll be able to sell anything.
Wow, so many great points. I love this example. So I think one point you mentioned that like it is expensive, but at the same time affordable.
Yes.
So maybe you can share with us, how can we create that irresistible offer so that even though this package is expensive, but at the same time we feel like, this is going to give us so much ROI. So what are some essential elements if we want to create an irresistible offer for our prospects?
Yes, I mean, it's a couple of things. One, you absolutely need to shift your mindset, first of all, because if you don't believe that you're worth it, it's never going to work. Because we know that something, what is it, like 60 to 80% of the communication that happens between two people is nonverbal. So if you go into that sales conversation saying, I'm not worthy, they're never going to buy, then they're never going to buy. So your mindset, that you do have to take a shift in your mindset. So the first thing I have my clients do is something like, you know, tell me your biggest wins. What are the accomplishments that you've achieved over the last 10, 15, 20 years? Because every person I've met completely disregards all their achievements. They're like, oh yeah, this was no big deal. And I think part of it is our gifts are so innate that we just think everyone can do it. We forget that we are genius in a couple of areas. And so looking at your accomplishments, it doesn't matter whether you've had any clients or not. You can look at accomplishments within the companies that you worked for. You can look at accomplishments in, if you do have clients in their lives, you can look at degrees, certifications, training programs, educations, previous businesses you owned, everything. It all gives credibility. The second thing is you want to look at what are the expected outcomes. I mean, what do your ideal clients want? Can you build a bridge that takes them from pain and fear and frustration and like their worst nightmare coming to fruition? And build a bridge that takes them to the other side, that saves them time, years of frustration, potential bankruptcy, or $100,000 spent that they didn't need to. Can you save them time and money? Can you save their health? Can you save their family? Whatever it may be, but based on what you're selling. And that's where the ROI is. That's where the juice is. But you have to be able to build a program that delivers that transformation, because otherwise, like you and I were talking before the interview, then you're just selling people a pipe dream, and that's not going to work for the sustainability of your business, nor is it being of integrity. So you got to be able to back it up. The next thing you need is believability. Okay, this is something I always say, this is probably the biggest missing piece in the coaches and consultants that I see. They haven't built believability. They haven't built credibility in the marketplace. You found me because you saw me dropping value bombs. Like I'll
so
just go,
much, okay? So much. Seriously.
I'll go and I'll just teach my heart out on a live stream, and that's not something that people do. I mean, there may be a handful of people. I can probably count on one hand how many people I see actually teaching something, not the webinar style where they're kind of giving you if they're pretending to teach, but they're not really teaching you anything. But I mean, actually getting out a whiteboard and breaking down real examples, and just pouring their heart into their audience and saying, look, let me help you, let me serve you. And I know people have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars off of my free content because they message me. And it's an amazing feeling. But if you haven't built credibility, especially in the first 3 years of your business when it is crucial, you're going to struggle for a long time.
Can you further, because I think many people struggle with this. Like, are there some like benchmarks for us to measure credibility? Like, this feels yeah. So share with us, how can we measure that like more concretely? Yeah.
Sure. Well, number one, how often are you teaching, training, and giving free content away? And I don't mean just like content. It is a great formula. It's one that is in my toolbox. I'm not talking about just pain, agitate, solution, which is what most coaches use for their sole marketing strategy. Pain, agitate, solution, buy my course, right? I'm talking about actually teaching. I'm talking about educating your audience so that any doubt in their mind that you are credible is eliminated, so that people start to follow you, so that people literally raise their hand to work with you. Like, I know I get applications all the time coming in. And if you notice, I rarely promote anything. Like,
never.
Maybe like a couple times a year, if I have an event or something, I might say, hey, this is happening. But for the most part, I don't beat my audience up. So if you're not getting any engagement on your post, or if you've got people that are lurkers, then you have failed to present yourself as an educator. So in order to shift the dynamic between, hey, you're cool, I like what you're doing, you have an awesome life, to, oh my gosh, that's my teacher, that's my mentor, I could learn something from this person, you have to teach. So that's one measure of credibility. Are you out there teaching? Are you giving your best stuff away? The next thing is, are you getting your name out there in even a bigger way? So it's not just your audience that sees it, but you're using what's called OPT, other people's traffic. So getting onto podcast and teaching your methodology, writing articles, getting published, taking the time. I mean, nothing is free, it's earned, you're putting in your time, but the ROI is huge. I tell my clients this all the time to encourage them to get on more podcasts. I know that I can account for approximately, at least, and this is only directly that I know, $150,000 of revenue coming directly from me being on podcasts just this year. And the number is probably much higher, but that's people I know who actually came in, heard me speak, and bought right then.
Wow. Do you say yes to every single podcast request, or you're a lot more selective?
I say yes.
Okay.
I say yes. So people who are, and it's completely a personal choice, but here, I'll tell you a little story. And this was really inspiring for me. I was at an event. It was very intimate. I think there were maybe less than 100 people there. And it was in San Diego, and via live stream, they had Dave Asprey, who is the creator of Bulletproof Formula, multi-million-dollar company, live streaming in there. And he said something, it was the best takeaway from that event. You always have that one takeaway. He said, how I built my business is I just got in front of whoever would listen to me. He said, I don't care if it's 5 people. If I can get my message out and get them to listen to me, which is the hardest thing to do, because most of the time, we're just so distracted. We're not paying attention. We're not giving someone our attention. He says, I know that the lifetime value that I can get off of one person buying or telling their friend is going to far exceed, compensate for me, coming in here and talking for free. And there he was, live streaming in our group, so that he could gain potentially even one customer. And so a lot of people say, no, I'm too busy, or I don't want to do it. I'm the opposite. I'm actually told my team to ramp up and book me on 30 podcasts in the next 90 days. So because the power of getting your message out there, it's better than paid advertising.
Totally.
People are listening, and they're not being sold something. And if you can just get people to listen, like, you can create an expert business.
So true. And I mentioned this earlier before it go live, like Jessica mentioned in one of her live trainings, which really stuck with me. People love buying. We love spending money. We love purchasing stuff, but we don't love being sold to. Like, so many marketers, every day when I open my email, I'm like, oh, my LinkedIn inbox, oh my goodness, everyone give me a break. Every single day, as long as I connect with this person, is trying to sell me this and that. Is so annoying. Unfollow. And so I love your approach. And right now we have so many questions coming from our live audience. So we're going to take a break from my questions and answer some live audience questions.
Sounds
And
good.
so we literally have people from Australia, from the US, from the UK, from all over the place join us live right now. Thank you so much, everyone. Jessica is amazing. So this question, I don't know if you can, if you remember this, the context to this question, Jessica, if you could elaborate on the 10 points for 1,000 to a 5-figure option. Vicky, thank you for asking this question. Do you remember the context?
Yes, I don't think there's necessarily 10 points. What we're looking at is expected outcomes, and can you build in the value so the ROI is so much higher that it makes sense to attach a really high price point. I'll give you an example, if you like, of one of my programs. My inner circle is so value packed, like it's incredible. And so this is what I mean by high ticket. And you don't have to do this, as something I choose to do, but I include all-inclusive retreats for my clients. I take professional videos for them. We take professional photography. Like, they fly in, we roll out the red carpet, rent a mansion, provide all their foods. I take them horseback riding, like all kinds of other things. That's a huge value add. That's a huge selling point. So that's one thing that I add in. Let's say you're doing $100, $100, or let's see, $500 a month social media management, and you want to totally change that. Maybe you're in an agency. So how can you build value? You could manage their funnels, learn funnels, manage their funnels, manage the email marketing, lock them into a 3-month contract at $3,500 a month. There's your five figures right there. It's about shifting how you think and the value that you build in. So there's 2 ways to build the most value. The most value is that they get more of your time and these kinds of experiences that I talked about, or you do more things for them if you're in like the agency model. So I put all of it into mine. I do retreats, I do calls, I do training. I build the value up so much because I know that it's so valuable that it's like you can't say no to it.
Yeah, I want to follow up on this point. I think you are so good at like engaging in meaningful conversations. So one of my questions for you is like, how can we construct like a meaningful enrollment conversation? Are there certain things that we have to talk about in that conversation? Like when you talk about this, Jessica, it just feels so simple, right? You have an irresistible offer, engaging a conversation, then that's it. So, but I feel like many of us were really struggling implementing this. So share with us, like, what do you mean by like a meaningful enrollment conversation? What are certain things that we have to talk about in this conversation so that we can effectively eliminate all the fear of
Totally. Well, there's so much leading up to it that will help pre-frame it. Number one, if they have consumed valuable content from you and they're already enrolled in who you are, they're much more likely to buy. This is a much more effective strategy, pull marketing, pulling them into you, than it is sliding into their DM saying you're just in time for my webinar, which we know is not true, and trying to get them on a call, or saying, hey, I deleted 20 people today that says I do done for you lead gen services on LinkedIn. I don't even respond. I just delete them. I don't need you. Okay. That's a different energy. When someone is pushing something onto you, then what do? You walk into that conversation guarded. What's this person want? Can I trust them? Right. For when somebody watches your content and they're like, oh my gosh, this woman makes sense. I need help. I mean, people literally will message me on LinkedIn and tell me everything that's going wrong in their business and ask if I can help them. That is a different shift. So already I'm much more empowered when I step into my sales conversations because they've raised their hand. They've already said, I like what you have to say. Also, if they've gone into your funnel and you've been able to indoctrinate them, and that's what I do, like in my email series, it's not a salesy type email series that literally is shifting paradigms. It's giving them the aha moments. It's showing them how what I do can work for them. It's showing them how to avoid mistakes. I'm really, again, teaching everything that I'm doing in video. I'm still staying consistent and keeping that same theme through email marketing and through the credibility that I present for the case studies and everything. So there's lots of things you can do to frame up the conversation. For me, when someone gets on the phone with me, they're really already sold, okay, because of all this. But for those of you that are just starting out in sales and you don't have all of these pieces in place, then you need to understand how to properly structure a sales call. And that really involves, taking control of the situation, understanding their pain points, understanding what they've tried in the past and their sense of urgency, being able to future pace them into their dreams, what they really want, and actually qualifying them, making sure that number one, there's someone you want to work with, because if they're not, you don't take them on as a client. It will cause you far more headaches and trouble than it's worth the money, right?
Wow.
So
You are very
disqualify.
selective in terms
Oh,
of
yes.
very okay.
And a lot of people who are struggling financially won't. So they'll take the money even though they know they can't help them, and it comes back to bite them. So make sure you want to work with them. Make sure that you can help them. If you can't, please refer them to someone who can, you know, and then you're qualifying them and making sure that there's someone you want to work with, because this isn't a one-way conversation. It isn't like, I've got what you want, I'm going to sell it to you. This is you saying, let me see if I like you enough to give you my time and energy and my cell phone number and spend time with you, right? It's got to be more of a dance. So if you can go into the mindset of I'm vetting them to see if I really want to work with them, it's going to shift your energy going into a conversation. And then understanding how to really present your methodology. When I get on a sales conversation, I'll spend 20 minutes teaching them, just like I do. And some people say not to do that. Some people say, no, you want to ask the scripted questions, but I will spend 20 minutes teaching them my methodology, because I know when I do my 20 minutes methodology, they're going to shake their head and say, oh my gosh, I see how this is going to work for me. So I take a different approach than what some people take. And then it's a question of just, you know, it's just exchanging information and coming up with finance options or whatever it may be. You know, what are the payment options? It's never pushy. It's never icky. It's never salesy. If they want to be there, they're going to be there. If I don't want them there, I'm going to let them go politely. And it's just there's a transference of confidence. And if the energy's right, then they're going to move. And if not, they'll move on with their life. Right.
Wow. I love this. So good. And let's take another question. So I think we kind of answered this question already. You know, can you ask high-end ticket? Like, can you sell them straight away? I think you kind of answer like offering like so much free value. People really love you. They actually want to work with you, and they feel like, don't ever reject me. I want to work with you. So you kind of already earned that trust. Yes. And so let's talk about this, Jessica. I know like I struggle with this, you know, feeling like an imposter. You kind of mentioned this a little bit, you know, the shift in how we think, how we perceive ourselves. And many of us, we have, I don't know if you have any, but I definitely struggle with my many self-negative talk. You know, I'm not good enough. Why I'm to do this, to charge this much money. So what are some, if you can recall your early days, so what are some exercises, or like what should we do to get ourselves out of that negative state to feel like empowered to offer this?
Well, I'll share a quick story with you about what the big shift was for me, and hopefully it will help you guys, because I wasn't always like super confident and selling ultra high ticket and all this. I was working for someone that I was doing done for you. She gave me bottom of the barrel prices and said, hey, I'm going to pay you more when I make more money, etc. I said, okay, fine. And this was probably almost 6 years ago. And then I saw that a coach came along and she paid him, I don't remember what it was at the time, but like $5,000 to solve one problem for her. And I realized in that moment that if I don't see my value and own it, then no one else will either. So if you don't see your value, which a lot of really gifted, successful people, or like people who've had success in other areas of their life, but maybe not coaching or consulting, they don't see their value in this. If you don't see and own your value, meaning you're not willing to accept less, no one else will either. And so fast forward, I think about a year later, I remember I was referred a client by 2 other clients. They both knew her. And we had a conversation. I was actually in Mexico on vacation. And I remember her saying, I know, I do love to vacation here. And I remember her saying after about 45 minutes, she said, well, you know, this all sounds good. And tell you what, let me shoot you an email and I'll let you know. She sent me an email and she said, I'd like a discount for your pricing. I tell you what, when you get back to San Diego, I'm going to drive down and we can have lunch and you can, you know, give me more help and then we'll make a decision. If I was in the same place I was the previous year, I would have said, okay, yeah, sure, I'll discount my prices and sure, I'll meet you again and give you more value. and take up more of my time. And I fired off a very short email to her, and I said, clearly we're not a fit. You don't see my value. I don't discount my prices, and I don't meet up with people in person that are not paying clients. And she turned it around and emailed me back and said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yes, we want to work with you. I didn't mean to offend you. But the reason why I share both of those is because people will push your boundaries. So if you're like, of course I'll run all around town and I'll give you everything and I'll slash my prices for you, then they're going to try to take advantage of you. But if you say and make that statement and say, no, I know what I'm worth and I know the value that I bring and I'm not willing to accept less, and these are my boundaries, then I can tell you it will never happen again. And it never has happened again. I've never had a single person say, you know, how about we trade, or can you discount it, or no one has come to me asking for more. So if you're getting those red flag clients that are trying to push boundaries, then you need to do some internal work around your own self-worth and know that draw a line in the sand and no more, I'm not willing to accept this. And a good affirmation for that is I only work with clients who immediately see my value and who are both willing and able to pay for it.
Wow, so powerful. And almost in a way that you are actually creating expectations, for yourself, you are regulating this. I love this.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
You are fighting against however 20, 30 years of limiting beliefs that were placed on you as a child. You have to fight against these stuff. You have to break through and push through the fear and let go and let God and say, hey, maybe I'm going to fall, maybe I lose this potential deal, but I'm going to hold my own. And I promise you better stuff will come along. So that's an internal mindset shift. The other short answer I always give people to selling high ticket is, after you've packaged it and all the things that we talked about before, you're going to get really confident after you sell it the first time, because then whatever inner work you've been doing has now been validated externally. And then it becomes very easy. You're like, oh my gosh, that was easier than I thought. Oh my gosh, why didn't I do this years sooner? But a lot of people are just so stuck with, even in the fear of trying to do something new, they're so stuck in the fear of the unknown that they'll self-sabotage again and again and again, staying stuck and capping their income for many years to come.
Yeah, well, I'm just reading the live audience comments. Everyone is resonating with you and learning so much. Thank you so much for already sharing so much value, Jessica. And here's another question, which I think I already saw a few people asking a similar question, is kind of social media. And like, how much time do you spend managing your own social media? Do you automate, and do you outsource? Do you in charge of your own social media? So maybe share with us how you plan out content.
Yes. So I actually have a team now, but for those of you who are just starting out, you have to kind of bootstrap it in the beginning. You got to roll up your sleeves and do the work, because in the beginning, you're going to be your bookkeeper, your social media manager, your graphic designer, your video editor, and that's okay. So your
makeup artist, your fashion,
your makeup, everything. You're going to do everything, and that's okay. And so when we talk about the scaling part of your business, in order to scale a business, you're going to have a team. So I don't do my social media management. I do not use automation tools. I have them do it manually because automation, I know, hurts the algorithm. And so I'm not interested in anything like that. I'm not interested in any AI software and bots. I steer clear of all that stuff. If that's what you use, more power to you. But I believe in relationship marketing, and everything. When you're selling at the level that I sell, then you need to be focused on the relationship and forget trying to computerize everything, right? There's a time and a place for automation. So as far as planning out content, my team uses Asana. I pre-create a ton of content because I do so many events. So I have lots of content. And there's an actual live, or maybe it's a video that I recorded that I'm happy to share with the audience. I'll have my assistant share it around content maximization. And there's all kinds of things that you can turn around and turn out there. So we have a system for planning content and all that. But here's what I will say. Don't plan too far in advance. Everything is constantly changing. And what I have found is whenever I pre-do all of this content and we schedule it out, my engagement goes down, because where your energy goes, the money flows. So if you're like, I'm just going to step back and automate everything, people will sense it. I don't know why, I don't know how, but they sense it. And it's so much more powerful for you just to tune in. And I'm not saying that you can't pre-create content as well, but just tune in and say, what's showing up in my life right now? What do people need to hear right now? And writing some fresh content, or just hitting the live button and going out there and teaching. And those have been by far my highest converting, engaging type of content, is when I just go with what's happening right now. And if you're like, I get stuck, I don't know what to come up with content, literally use what's happening in your own life. Use it as a metaphor. Tell a story. Somebody was going to buy from you and they didn't. You can tell a story with what they're going through. A client that you get off a coaching call with, tell a story. Those are what connects people more than trying to pre-build a lot of content and do the Gary Vee style, who's awesome. Most people don't have a huge team. And, it's like, you can't follow all the mega gurus. Sometimes it's just about creating deep connections and really like connecting with people. And the way you can do that is with your message and not trying to bulk create all your content.
Well, I love this. I also want you to explain a little bit more. So are you saying that you are only posting content natively on each platform? You don't use any buffer, Hootsuite, anything like that, because it actually hurts the performance of the content. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow, I just want to make sure everyone gets this, because many of us, we kind of we don't have time to do that. We just use whatever tool that you use to schedule out content. I actually discovered this myself. One time I got locked out of Twitter from scheduling too much, I guess. And so it's reassuring.
Yes. And I will tell you this, that we are a worldwide, connected, we live in a worldwide, very connected place. You can definitely, it is far more effective to pay someone if budget's an issue in the Philippines or in India or wherever it may be, to help you with manage some of this stuff, than it is to try to automate through softwares that are constantly getting flagged by, the major social media things. I mean, Meet Leonard and all these other automation tools that are getting accounts shut down. So it's far better just to have someone do it manually. And again, just don't lose sight of it. Don't take your pulse off your company. You still need to reply. I reply to my connections. I'm not allowing my team to do that. So I'm still very much in it, because I want to know what people are saying. And also, as I share with you, people are often really opening up to me on Messenger and telling me here's my numbers, here's where I'm struggling, here's how much I made in this area. And that's really personal. I can't have an assistant answer that question as me. So, you can use help and teams for certain things, but don't take your pulse off your business and try to just step away and step back, because it will hurt your business ultimately, because you lose that sense of intimacy with your audience.
Yeah, totally. Conversational marketing, right? And
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, bot can do that. Actually, I think when bot became really popular, maybe a few years ago, I subscribed to so many. And then last year, I got so annoyed by all of them. I unsubscribed to all. It's just constant, nonstop. They don't ever leave you alone.
No, I can't stand bots personally. I subscribed to 2 accidentally and I muted them. And I'm not a fan, and that's fine. I know people are all about it, but I'm really about scale back on the technology side as much as possible, unless you're a digital marketer selling information products and you have $7, $47, $57, $97 upsells. If that's your motto, more power to you, and use the bot. But the more that I simplify my business, the more money I make. The more I simplify to amplify. Simplicity, focus and simplicity. Steve Jobs quoted this: focus and simplicity. When you get there, you can move mountains, right? But if everything is so complex and you've got every single tool and every app that AppSumo gives you, and you're trying to use all these different things, all you're doing is creating complexity, more things that can potentially break, and you're taking the human element out of it. And no amount of automation will ever take the place of a powerful and transformational conversation. No amount of automation than it is to get on the phone with someone and hear what they're going through and acknowledge their pain and empathize with it, and to show them that there's a way out.
Well, especially I think if we are selling high-end ticket, I think that human touch, that conversation is really crucial. And I want to ask you, many entrepreneurs, we are constantly looking for more leads to find more
Yes.
clients. And you talk about 3 different types of traffic to
Yes.
generate more leads. And so can you explain those 3 types of traffic, and also share with us, how do we decide which one we should leverage?
Sure, sure. Well, the 3 ones I like most people to focus on is free to begin with. So that's free, aka earned traffic. It's not free. You put in your time, but it's organic. That's the most powerful thing you can do in your business. It really is. Um, Everybody wants to jump into ads and again step back, but it doesn't matter. Even if you have $1 million company, you still need to have your pulse on it. You still need to be creating your content because people buy you. So free is really powerful. You can make hundreds of thousands, if not 7 figures, using free traffic. Okay. Now you have to have an audience and you have to build it the right way, because you can't just create a bunch of content and have 1,000 people that follow you and blow up your newsfeed 10 times a day with content. That's not the way it works. It's a two-way street. So you need to build your audience. You need to build it in the right way. You need to build it with integrity, not spamming people, cold messaging, scraping their emails, adding to them to your email list, like all of that. Like, don't do any of the spammy tactics if you want to attain the long-term integrity and brand reputation. Think about who you want to be like. I love Apple. Apple's not scraping my email and spamming me with offers. They're standing there as like the leader, as an elegant option for technology, and I raise my hand to work with them. I want to buy their products. So become the BMW or the Audi or whatever you want to call it of your class, of your coaching, consulting, education class, rather than like the used car dealer who's just kind of doing some shady stuff. So that's really important. You need to build your audience and create relevant content, create intimacy with them. And then the second thing is paid traffic. Now, most people want to jump to paid traffic before they're ready. And what happens is, if you're not ready, meaning you're not really selling enough, you don't have enough volume, you haven't brought enough people through your pipeline and got them results, then what's going to happen is there's typically a gap between your messaging, your positioning, your offer, your funnel, the back end support of your funnel that's going to help convert those ads. So you hear these stories of people spending all this time and energy, 6 months on a webinar, $10,000 on Facebook ads, and no conversions. It's because they're automating too soon. And so when I teach my 6-step process, automation is the last thing that we build in. Why? Well, first of all, I already said you can make a ton of money off of organic. The other thing is up in the right way. And then we want to generate money so that you can self-fund the scaling of your business. We don't want to go into debt. We don't want to go into the red, the negative, like most people do, and just put it all on a credit card. What you want to do is be making money. Okay, I'm making 15, 20 grand a month. Great. Now I'm going to take a portion of this and I'm going to commit to a really sophisticated, because it is sophisticated, paid traffic strategy. There's so many moving parts. Everyone thinks it's just easy, but there's a lot of things that have to go in there, and a lot of money that you have to spend to even nurture those leads before you sell them. And you can pay up to $1,000. Think about this, guys, to acquire a client. That's common. $700 to $1,200, I think, is around the industry standard to maybe acquire a $5,000 client. Do you have the money to spend that?
Exactly. Yeah.
So most people aren't ready for ads yet. So we want to use ads to scale. But honestly, if you're doing less than 200,000, probably don't need to touch ads yet. You just need to, you need to work on continuing to build your audience and to nurture them through organic. The other one is what we talked about before, OPT, other people's traffic. That can go in the form of podcasts. It can go into you like doing a free training in someone's Facebook group. It can go into relationship, like affiliate type referral partnerships. That can be the third tier. But before you go into that, you really need to have your product fleshed out. Any good affiliate is going to want to make sure that you already are getting leads, that you're converting them, that they're not just going to put you in front of their audience and you sell them, again, something that's, empty or, doesn't have really high quality. Any good affiliate partner. So you need to use all 3 of these ultimately, but most people really need to focus on the free traffic. If you're at 20K a month, add in your paid traffic strategy, and also look at partnership and affiliate.
Oh my God, so many great points. And I just want to say bye to Donald who joined us live from Denmark. Thank you. Yeah. And those are really great content. I think everyone, we just need to, because I think we have this tendency to be obsessed with vanity metrics, right? Like how many people are following us and we want to grow that number on LinkedIn. I used to, everyone request to connect with me, I accept because I want to boost my ego, right? I want to have many people. But then what I'm hearing from you is that you really want to make sure that you have a carefully curated audience, and the right audience, right? So, and you are building trust with them. You are nurturing the relationship with the right people. You know, I think that influencer, like, I don't know if you read the article, trying to sell a t-shirt and sold 6 t-shirts, but has millions of followers on Instagram. I think we can all learn something from stories like that. I love this comment from Vicky, my dear friend, and how to simplify. When you say it, Jessica, when you are teaching us right now, everything sounds so simple. And I don't know why when we are doing everything just so messy. So I can really resonate with Vicky here, right? So maybe share some tips with us. So are you on all the social media channels? I know you already mentioned that you have a team, but okay.
No, I've even pulled back on my Instagram. My sole focus is Facebook and LinkedIn.
Wow.
And of course, my email list. Now, I'm not saying that is the strategies you can take. You can take whatever you want. I mean, everybody has different schools of thought. But for me, I know that it's hard for me to be present on all and give energy to all of those platforms. And I absolutely love LinkedIn. I love that people are open to doing business. LinkedIn Live is a game changer. Like, I love LinkedIn. And then Facebook is just, you have that personal element that you don't have on LinkedIn. Like, you can, you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to showing your life, and it's a little bit different. So I love these 2 platforms. I wouldn't put everything on one, but ultimately you want to bring people onto your email list. And then as you get really big, if you can really focus on a couple platforms, as you get bigger and bigger, you can start to add in another. So I'm on YouTube. I'm not super active, but that's the 3rd channel that we're really building. I've had a channel up. I put my videos up, but for me, it's about one thing at a time. So if you're asking how do I simplify, the number one thing I'm going to tell you is to start saying no to a lot of things right now. Say no a lot. People always offer me deals. They want me to come to events. They want me to do all these things. And if I said yes, it would distract me from my own business. So again, I'll keep talking about, focus. The key to simplicity is to focus. Get rid of the things that you're not using. Clean up your funnels, clean up your emails, like simplify and make sure that you're really directing everybody to one offer. Then your messaging supports it, that you're not talking about 50 different things, that everything that you're putting out supports your ultimate message, which is how you help people. Really, really simplify, and I promise you'll start to get traction. So if you see a lot of you might see this, you might see really big coaches who now have massive followings, and they are in constant launch mode. So they have a money mindset course, and then, I don't know, launch your business course, and then, kick butt at sales course. Like, they're always launching something new. And you might think, oh, this is fun. I'm going to do this. This is easy, but it's exhausting. And you don't have a huge team, and they might make it look easy, but perpetually launching is going to leave you exhausted. You're going to have you're going to leave your audience feeling beat up. They're going to quit paying attention to you instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to pull back. I'm not going to go for vanity numbers. I don't need to try to sell 100 of these $500 courses. I don't need to constantly launch. I'm going to get really, really good at what I do. And I'm going to make my program become a leader, in our industry.
I love this so much, Jessica. I think that's why I love, I just resonated your approach so much. Before we started our live, I shared with you, like I purchased the last several years, I only purchased 3 online classes. Yeah. So for each of the online course I purchased, I watched maybe 1 hour. The other one 2 hours. The 3rd one I haven't even touched yet, and that was from last year. I think the content is no longer relevant. But like with you, high-end ticket, you are really spending like undivided, giving your clients undivided attention. You have a small group, and you can gain so much more. And you don't have to hustle all the time to try to sell 1,000, 2,000, but you only need to sell a few to reach however 6-7 figure that you want to reach. It just makes so much sense to me. And thank you for sharing that to simplify this journey.
Yes.
Sometimes we just feel like, oh my God, this is so complicated. Yeah. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
Of course. And I'll do a little math for people who are in doubt. So you want to make 6 figures. That's what people want. They want to break that 100K mark. So $10,000 a month is what you want. That's what everybody wants to start off with. And then they realize, no, I'm actually need double that because after taxes and expenses, this isn't much money, right? So you'll get there, but that's the goal, 10K a month. So if you focus on selling a $10,000 program, that means you would have to sell 1 per month. 1 per month. That's 12 a year. That's $120,000. The industry average says that if you are decent, not even great at sales, if you're decent at sales, then for every 6 calls, qualified calls, you'll be able to close 1 client. So if you can make 6 calls a month, you'll be able to sell a $10,000 product. Let's say you're terrible though at sales and you're like, I'm the worst salesperson ever. So you need to do double that. You need to do 12 calls a month, 12 1-hour calls. That's 3 hours a week on calls to make $10,000 a month. And it doesn't require a funnel. It doesn't require ads. Okay. That's what I want people to understand, the shift. And when you create high ticket, what's really beautiful about it, and the way that I've structured my business is that there's cash flow and there's predictability. I know exactly what's coming in over the course of the next year. I know exactly what my numbers are. And that's without adding anything else. Of course, it will grow. And that's something that is every entrepreneur wants. They want predictability, and you will never have predictability if you're perpetually launching courses. I shared that one of the influencers, I'm not going to name names, but I really respect her for who she is, was very transparent about one of her launches. And she's got a full team, videos, ads, copywriting, sales pages, everything. And she shared that after her launch, which took them 3 or 4 months to prepare, she made $50,000.
Wow.
Which is insane to me. Because with her level of genius, her speaking on stages, biggest stages in the world, all she had to do was sell one consulting client. She could have gone into a company and taught them for 2 days and made $50,000. And so you don't have to follow the internet marketer, information products. It might not even fit your business. Like take some of those tools when you're ready to scale. But remember, it all comes back to conversation. It's all about the relationship. And so you don't need to add and do all these things in order to get the result that you're seeking. Everybody wants to automate and step back too soon. But I'm telling you that there's power in intimacy. There's power in conversations. There's power in going for quality over quantity.
I just so many great points. I love this so much. Yeah, it's so true. And the quality over quantity. And we can save so much energy, and then we can continue to work on our business to grow a long-term manner. Yeah, great. I just want to respect your time. So share with us what is happening with you next year. Anything excited you're super fired up about, share with us. And how can we learn more about you?
Oh yeah, I am so excited. 2020 is going to be huge. I'm just really excited because my whole focus right now is growing my team and really showing up as a great leader for them. My Expert Accelerator program, I plan to make the #1, expert coaching program in the country. And we're going to have many live events teaching people. We've already got a great group of people who are absolutely crushing it in the program. So my goal is to continue supporting my clients in that way and growing my business and enjoying the life I've created with my beautiful daughter.
Awesome. Share with us, how can we join this program and where can we learn more about this?
Sure. You can learn more at jessicayarbrough.com. So www.jessicayarbrough.com.
Accelerator program. If we want to join, do we have to schedule a call with you, or how can
absolutely. Yeah, there's a way to book a call there. And then also there, if you want to just absorb more of the information, download my 4-part video series. It's 45 minutes of value. It's, nothing's being sold at the end. There's an invitation for a call if you want. We don't accept everybody, but you can apply to join the program. And if we feel like it's the right fit for you, and we see that you're someone who is going to take action and implement what we teach you and get results, then we would love to have you in the program.
Everyone, you have to watch the 4-part series videos. I watched it twice. I think I watched it when you did it live, or I watched the replay. But to prepare for this interview, I rewatched the video, and I learned a lot, even more. I think as you grow, just different points resonated with you like differently. So thank you so much. I'm going to enter Jessica's links. And in the comment section, everyone, I will also try to find the links to the 4-part series video. You have to watch. It is free and really solid. So much value. And so thank you for coming to my show. Everyone loved everything you shared. And like I can see, yeah, Vicky is excited. Even on LinkedIn, I couldn't share comment on through StreamYard from LinkedIn. But there are so many great points. And thank you so much, Jessica, again. Yeah. So next week, everyone, it's going to be our 100. Oh my God, 100 episodes. We have been on this journey for almost 3 years. So, and I'm going to do some holiday giveaway, gift card. And I know my dear friend Peter is going to receive a gift card for sure. He has been so helpful. So join us live next Wednesday, the same time, same location on LinkedIn, Facebook, Periscope, or YouTube, however you want to join us. And guys, make sure, ladies and gentlemen, follow Jessica. She's so amazing. And Jessica, thank you so much again. Enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.